Hey, you're listening to Two on the Vine. I'm Vinny, and with me, KY. We're going to be talking about some stuff today, including Nintendo Direct, PS4, and probably a bunch of other salty topics.
Oh yeah.
So, KY, how you doing?
Good. I've been getting in touch with my salt since you said we're talking salt. I don't know if anyone caught the Bloodborne stream that I did last night, but Jesus, my sodium levels just through the roof. It's crazy. But we'll certainly talk about that.
Yeah, that's something I want to discuss. I want to talk about what that game is all about because it looks cool, but I think it would probably frustrate me to no end. So before we do that, though, how's the weather over in Boston? Because I was there a month ago and it was a mess. How's it now?
It's awesome, or like it's a million times better. Like the snow's mostly melted. Mount Duncan is mostly gone. For those that caught that on Twitter, and it's pretty warm. Like it's been hovering between like 40 and 60 degrees. It's great. You know, good times ahead. The end is in sight, as they say. So
that's good. I'm glad Frosty Snowy Butthole is decided to close itself and stop pooping its snow all over you guys. and us too, because we were getting hit. New York City was getting hit hard. We had some snow on the first day of spring.
Yeah.
So that's a way to welcome spring.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness it's finally here. So, yeah,
well,
excited.
Now, here we are talking about great weather, and yet we're both stuck indoors playing video games because we would prefer to do that most of the time.
Well, if you could go outside, if you had to go outside right now, what would you choose to do with your time?
That's a great question. Okay, so what I do outside is I read a lot. I bring a book. Or maybe I would bring Monster Hunter. Kill some monsters.
You'd bring your 3DS, of course, and then you just like think like, oh, what game should I play when I get home? Like you would just fantasize about your indoor life.
Right.
You're living two lives, Vinny.
The indoor life and the indoor life.
Mr. Vine Sauce.
It's gonna be great when the weather finally gets nice and I'm not outside ever.
Yeah.
No, I like to go outside and read a book. Which I think is something that a lot of people would benefit from. I enjoy it. It gives me tremendous peace of mind to go outside, enjoy some sunlight, and read a nice book. So that's what I'll be doing.
And those books would be, of course,
video game related,
video game magazines, strategy guides. You know, the
my
tips
old
from
Final
the pros.
Fantasy VII strategy guide from 15 years ago.
I used to read that like a book when I was a kid. When I was like this fucking 12-year-old dweeb, I would read. I had like 3 different Final Fantasy VII strategy guides that I would seriously just read like a book. And like they had some nice pictures and some nice layouts. Some of them were just like dull, but Jesus, it was so lame.
I used to do the same thing. We were lame kids, man. What can I say?
One of the coolest I've ever read, not from Final Fantasy, but this was actually a Myst strategy guide. It had the book was divided into 2 sections. The first section was just a step-by-step breakdown on how to beat the game, on like how to do each area. And the second half of the book, it's also a walkthrough, but they wrote it as if it were the traveler's journals. And that was really cool. Like as a kid, that really blew my mind, even though the literature was a bit beyond my mental capacity at the time. But
sure.
I still appreciated what it was. I was like, oh, it's so cool. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of like that's a bonus because you know what? This is an interesting topic, the lost art of the strategy guide.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was younger, you know, you would really, really like a game like Mario RPG. I didn't even own that game, but I had the strategy guide for when I rented it or for when I borrowed a friend's copy. And the strategy guide was so cool because when I played the game, I knew what the hell I was doing. And I could get backstory on, you know, the areas and the bosses and the enemies. And it was really fun. It was like that one that you were just telling me about. Like, you know, when they added some extra stuff, extra incentive for you to read the strategy guide, it made it so much more fun. Yeah. But now strategy guides are not really necessary because you can just Google whatever your problem is and it's solved.
Yeah, I mean, it's the digital age. I was talking about how, like, what's the last game you can remember buying new and that actually came with a strategy guide? Do you remember? They're
like as a promotion?
No, just like, or not a strategy guide. Sorry, I mean an instruction manual.
Oh well, as an instruction manual, that's a whole different story. Monster Hunter has none. It doesn't have one. Honestly, there's definitely one recently. I just can't think of what it was.
Yeah, I want to say maybe Captain Toad might have had one. No, what was it? There was something recently.
The fact that we're even struggling is proof enough that this is a problem.
Yeah, I miss. I miss instruction manuals. I mean,
well,
sorry, go ahead.
Hyrule Warriors has one, but it's 4 pages, so that doesn't count.
Right. Yeah, and well, usually they're like 20 pages, but in 5 different languages.
Right. So, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's 4 pages repeated 5 times.
Yeah. I remember one of the coolest. One of my favorite instruction manuals when I was a kid was Donkey Kong Country, because it had a bunch of nice custom graphics of all the different barrels and items and what they did. They were almost like mini strategy guides, but not like hand-holdy. It was just like for more information type guides, you know? Like you go into it, find extra information that you might have not known, but it won't tell you how to play the game. I miss good strategy guides. I mean, I keep saying that.
We're going back and forth between instruction manuals and strategy guides. I'm getting confused.
They're both lost relics in the digital age.
Well, I have a quick story about both, actually. So strategy guide, Soul Calibur 2, there was one, which, I mean, it's just fighter moves. That's really all it was. And my cousin, who was like 9 years older than me, we were in a Toys R Us. We had just bought Soul Calibur, and there was a rack of Soul Calibur 2 strategy guides. And my cousin was like, I think they're free.
I'll just take one.
What do you mean? He's like, oh, yeah, they're in a rack by the door. That means they're free. So just as we're walking out the door, he takes one, and we just walk out with it. No one stopped us.
Oh.
And then later on, I was like, I don't think that was a free strategy guide. So I had that, and that was fun. That was probably one of the last ones I had. And in terms of instruction manuals, sometimes you would get a good instruction manual that would tell you the backstory, the history of the enemies and everything. And then other times they would give you a limited walkthrough of the first area of the game.
Right, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the only strategy guide story that comes to mind for me, besides what we hit over, I'll go over one before we move on to the topics at hand. But when I was a kid, did you ever see Earthbound on the store shelves for Super Nintendo, like in the store or in the rental store or anything?
Vaguely remember, yes.
So it came in this huge box, this massive Earthbound box with the trippy graphics and everything that it's known for. And inside it was packaged with a strategy guide, which is why the box was so big. People would see the huge box and it would literally be the cartridge, instruction manual, and an actual strategy guide, which, you know, they couldn't scale down. So it was just this massive box. So we went to this store called Video Update, which was one of my childhood video rental stores. And I see this box, Earthbound. I'm like, that looks cool, and the box is big, and it comes with a strategy guide. I want it. So I talked my mom into renting it. And me being the utter shit of a kid, this like little shitlord, when we got back and there was no instruction manual or strategy guide, I threw a tantrum. I was like, no, you're bringing this back to the store. And my mom was like, it still has the game. You can just play it, sweetie. You don't need those things. I was like, no.
Oh my God.
Not doing it. Like, I was such a shitlord when I was a kid. I literally made my mom drive back to the store and return the game. And I didn't play it. I ended up not playing it again until, like, I ended up buying it on a whim off of a store shelf used for like $5, like just before they stopped selling Super Nintendo cartridges like that. So
wow,
like
that's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, that's the one that's the story that comes to mind when I think strategy guides.
Well, I have 2 quick things. First is Smash Brothers Wii U has a 10-page strategy instruction booklet. See, I'm doing it too now. And it's move sets and controls and some other things. It's appreciated. It's about 40 pages, but of course the other 30 are in different languages. And I have a rental story that's very quick. It's I was playing a game called Joe and Mac a lot on the Super Nintendo.
Joe and Mac.
It was a dinosaur game, co-op. And so therefore I told my dad one time, I was like, hey, I want dinosaur game. Please go Blockbuster, rent dinosaur game.
Go dinosaur game.
And he came back with a Genesis game, and I didn't have a Genesis.
Oh, so no.
I threw a tantrum, and I got fucking... I was a shitty kid, too. Don't worry.
Oh, man. Those were simpler times when we didn't have, a conscience about things like that. I felt a lot of remorse later, like when I got a bit older and more mature. But at the time, seriously, no remorse whatsoever. I would just it was like, bitch, this thing didn't come with a strategy guide, and you're bringing it back because you clearly don't understand what's important about this big ass box.
Well, hey, let's not assume that everyone grows up to get a conscience.
Yeah,
that's definitely not the case all the time. But
yeah.
I think it's a good sign that you did feel remorse about it as you got older, and I did too. I always think about some of the things I did as a kid, and it was like, well, I was a spoiled, rotten bastard, and luckily I got out of that. So, speaking of spoiled, rotten bastard, let's talk about all the things that we want to complain about with the Nintendo Direct because we didn't get exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it earlier today, maybe 4 hours ago or so. I watched it, and some interesting points, some less interesting things. But yeah, let's go over it. What did you want to talk about first?
It was okay. I had some great moments. I had some dull moments. There was a lot of pleasing the shareholder moments.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
But otherwise, I would like to talk about Smash first because that's a hot topic of the Nintendo Direct, and that was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I mean, with Mewtwo, are you going to pick up Mewtwo when Mewtwo comes out?
I have just the two versions, so I'm good. I got it for free.
Right. Okay. So yeah,
I'm good.
I don't have the 3DS one. I'm debating if I want to because it's kind of a throwback to Melee, which was my favorite Smash game. Even if Mewtwo was the absolute shittiest character in that game. And Mewtwo is one of the most important Pokemon to me just because the only Pokemon game I ever beat was Red. So Mewtwo as a symbol means a lot to me.
Right.
So I think I'll do it.
Does he mean $5 to you, though?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think Lucas would, but Lucas is kind of a NES clone.
I said that on my stream last night, and some people got angry at me because they say he's not a NES clone.
Well, I mean, there are differences, sure, but I mean, you'd have to be like deliberately naive or deliberately ignorant to kind of fully dismiss him as being based on NES. Like
he is based on NES.
And he does have his own, some of his totally unique moves, like especially his up smash and down smash are totally different. Some of his aerials are different. I guess the main similarities come from how they handle. Like kind of like the psychic movement when they're doing double jumps and stuff, and the special moves, the B moves, are all like analogous or analogous. I don't know how to pronounce that, but they're obviously based on each other. He's not a pure clone. Like it's not as bad as like Ganondorf and Captain Falcon was in Melee, or like Dr. Mario and Mario.
Right.
But
then there's the word clone that has to be defined properly. Because sometimes we say, oh, it's a clone. Like Fox is a clone or Falco is a clone of Fox, but in reality, some characters are based on other characters, but have a completely separate moveset, or their own unique moves. Like I would say, Dark Pit is a clone of Pit, without any remorse whatsoever. I would say that's fine. Few different moves, but then you have Ike and Marth, completely different characters, but based on the same starting point, just taking completely different directions.
Yeah, I would say that their relationship is even less of a clone compared to Ness and Lucas, for example. I think they're even more different, but go on. Who else do you have?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like defining the word clone, because you can say clone and mean it like two characters are similar, but there's varying degrees of similarity.
Right.
Like Dr. Mario to Mario, Dark Pit to Pit, and then you have Lucas to Ness. So who knows? I mean, some people are really excited for Lucas. I never really used him.
Yeah, I mean, and Mewtwo's a clone. No one bitched about that. Like, no one's...
I know.
So,
and then my friend Mike was like, so now Mewtwo's a clone of Lucario, isn't he? I was like, yeah, I guess so.
No, I mean, well, because Mewtwo, from what I saw from the gameplay, Mewtwo's moveset is largely intact from Melee's. Yeah. Like, it looks almost the same. And Lucario came after Melee.
Correct.
So,
but the joke was that Lucario was Mewtwo's replacement because he was more popular.
Duh.
Yeah,
okay.
We were just messing around with which character's more popular.
Yeah, and the only other thing I would have to say about the whole clone thing, and this was a mistake I used to make. I used to be like, why are they including clones? Like, they could be putting totally different characters in those spots, and we would be so much happier. Why are these clones taking up spots? But the thing is, it's not like the right logic to have, and I think Sakurai might have addressed this at some point, but it's not like spots exist in a vacuum. Like, it's in the context of the character that occupies that slot. He said, if we were to make, Smash, any Smash game without those clones, it's not like other characters, unique characters, would take those spots. But it's just those spots wouldn't exist, period, because clones take almost no effort to make. He said you're essentially getting extra characters. And if we said no clones, it's not like we would suddenly have time to make brand new characters. So, like, if Dr. Mario wasn't in the game because no clones, there wouldn't be a better character in his spot. They didn't have time to make a new character. He's just a free addition, you know?
That's like if me wishing Dark Pit's not in the game, and then suddenly, oh, Ridley's there instead.
Right. That it's not. They didn't. It's not. That wasn't the decision making process. It's not like they said, well, we could do a clone or a new character. They said, okay, here are all the unique characters. If we want, we could add in a few clones too, because that takes such little time. And so, would you rather have some clones, or would you rather have no clones and nothing to replace them? You know?
I'd rather have clones, and I'd rather have character variety. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's kind of a middle ground. Like, I feel that Dr. Mario could be a skin for Mario, and I don't see any reason why they couldn't just change his moveset and properties slightly for the skin. Like, they could still give him, you know, the pills and the forward smash not spiking and different physics and everything, and just as a skin, when you switch to Dr. Mario's skin, you get those properties. That would be fine with me, and it would look a lot cleaner and less confusing on the character select screen.
And there's also custom movesets now, so I mean that could have been handled like, let's give Mario the down B and the pill, but then, you know, the clone characters also have some unique A moves, so, and different maybe aerials, so, and different like weight. I agree. So maybe the custom moves wouldn't be the answer, but I think, you know, having that extra spot on the roster, it doesn't bother me. I mean, the more the merrier when it comes to Smash, really. I cycle between somewhere like 8 and 10 characters that I use regularly, and, you know, 5 of which are really, really concentrated on, but the other 5 are just for fun.
Right.
And it's like the variety is great. I love the variety. And I'll even use Dark Pit just to use him, just to do something a little different. So it's, you know, it's all good. And so basically Lucas being in the game, I'm fine with, because it means it signals what we were all hoping for, which is more characters.
Right, totally.
And then that leads us to the voting that Sakurai is opening up. You know, there's now the voting thing. I voted for Tingle. I should have voted for Chrono, but it looks like only Nintendo characters are... there's a message on the site that says, vote for your favorite Nintendo characters. And there's a chance that we'll get to see one of those characters in Smash in the future. So who did you vote for?
I forget, can you only get one vote? Like per IP address, or...
You know what? Let's find out right now.
I don't know, but I did one just based on Edmund tweeting. He said, I'd love to see Meat Boy in Smash, so I put in a vote for Meat Boy. I don't see him actually getting in, but you never know. I figured it couldn't hurt. But here's the thing, too. We have roughly, depending on how many episodes we do and how much we're focusing on promoting the podcast, we get roughly 2,000 to 4,000 downloads a month. So if you wanted to command these loyal listeners to vote for a single character, even if it's just a total freaking joke, who are you asking our listeners to vote for?
Arseface from the Preacher comics.
There you go, Arseface from Preacher comics. I haven't read Preacher yet. I've been meaning to, but look it up so you can kind of speak like you are actually, like, you know, the character, and vote for it. You know, you will do our bidding, because that's how we roll.
For the record, I just voted for Chrono just now, and I have to say it went through. So I voted for Tingle and Chrono both. I
would love to vote for Chrono. Would be a great addition. It just makes so much sense.
I discussed this the other day. His moveset would be very, very, very welcome in Smash Brothers, between, you know, the lightning skills and the whirlwind, the cyclone, the katana skills with the sword. I mean, it's just perfect. But, you know, we know it's not going to happen. Squaresoft isn't going to give it up that easy. And does Nintendo want to pay for the rights or even go after the rights for third party?
Totally.
I think they're only doing Nintendo. So we'll probably end up getting a hot dog from Burger Time. So that's going to be cool.
Yep. Or we could get, what were those dinosaurs names that you played when you were a kid? the co-op dinosaur game.
Joe and Mac.
You could get Joe and Mac. They're the new ice climbers. They're the two dinosaur. Yeah.
No, they're actually cavemen. They shoot bones and like stone wheels.
Oh, Joe and Mac. Yeah. So there's another one that you guys can vote for.
Yeah. So I'm not excited.
Extraordinaire.
I mean, realistically, we'll probably get, Snake or Ice Climber. I wouldn't even say Snake. I don't think they're going to go after third party. I think we're going to get first party, which means we'll probably get Ice Climbers back. We have heard the cries of the fans. Please understand, Ice Climber.
Understand. But I understand. Ice Climbers would make total sense. Like, I didn't get why they cut them in the first place. Like, if you were to cut any characters, I can understand. And this kind of goes back to the clone thing. Everyone says, cut the clones. But, we just discussed why that's not good logic. But I like the Ice Climbers a lot. I liked them as characters. I liked them as fighters. It just made sense. It was a good
They're a unique combination.
Yeah. And I know some people say that Rosalina is the new Ice Climbers. But, no. It's not the same.
It's very different. But it's similar, but very different as well. I feel like Ice Climbers should have probably remained. I never used them, but they were fun, and we'll probably see them again.
Yeah, I think they're going to be the next announcement for DLC characters. I would think.
I think so too, and they might even be announced regardless of our voting.
Yep.
But then there was the thing where like Phil Spencer from Microsoft was like, I would love to see Banjo-Kazooie in Smash Brothers or something like that.
Right.
He said that there would be no problem with Microsoft and Nintendo to get Banjo in Smash. And the beauty of that is that's just free advertising for their next Banjo game.
Right.
Which is what they're doing. I think there was an announcement like that Banjo and Kazooie are coming back. But yeah, of course Phil Spencer wants to see some Banjo hype. So now that tweet has people hyped up for Banjo-Kazooie. And as I was saying, like, there is a severe shortage of mammals with birds on its back in Smash Brothers. So we need Banjo-Kazooie.
We need them. It's what the game needs. Last thing I would say about Smash is that this isn't directly related to the Nintendo Direct, but the roster has finally reached a point where it's where I always dreamed Smash would be in regards to character selection. Like, I remember people just going like stark raving mad over Dreamless for Smash Bros. Brawl. And then some people were disappointed by the size. I mean, I still thought it was pretty big. But then when I look at the character select screen for Smash 4, it's finally like, yes, like this is a great list. It's very diverse and it's very big and it works. So I'm finally not worrying as much about my dream list as much as I used to. But
I love the roster in Smash 4 so much. I agree.
Yeah.
I would love to see Snake return. I would love to see, say, Simon Belmont or a Squaresoft character. Like, I would love to, if Chrono was in the game or any representation from Chrono Trigger, that would be, Smash 4 would be like my favorite game of all time. But I'm realistic, and as a result, hey, I've got Mega Man, I've got
Little Mac.
Pit. Little Mac is great. There's a lot of fun characters to use, so I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, me too.
But we're gonna get even more happy. So, I mean, I think that's the best part of the whole Nintendo Direct, knowing that we're gonna get some new characters.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that interested me the most besides Mario Kart. Did you want to talk Mario Kart?
No, I want to talk about Puzzle and Dragons.
Okay, let's talk about Puzzle and Dragons.
Or why don't we talk about that Pokemon game with the with the shop that you can buy like Poke Diamonds?
Yeah, the
Shareholder.
Yeah,
what Shareholder, please.
What's the game series that reminded me of? I can't think of it. I want to say it starts with a B. That just got a recent reboot. It's like an arena multiplayer. Why can't I think of it? Ugh.
I can't think of it either.
God damn it. I gotta find this now.
Beetlejuice?
No, maybe it wasn't a B.
Juice?
Gauntlet. That's not a B at all. Beetlejuice.
Oh.
But no, it reminded me of, for some reason I thought of Gauntlet when I was looking at it. I was like Pokemon Gauntlet. I don't know why, but
it has a bit of a similar feel. But that before we talk about Mario Kart, I want to talk about the stuff in the middle. And there was a few moments like Yoshi looked cool because it looks like it's going to be a challenging game. Great art style. But then there was the stuff like Puzzle and Dragons, and then there was the Pokemon DLC shit, or the virtual store. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, Nintendo now is what they're doing is they're pleasing shareholders.
A lot of times, yeah. I mean,
so Yeah.
It's a business for you. It is.
Well, that's the business part of Nintendo.
Yeah.
But I also noticed there was a distinct lack of Star Fox and Zelda. So it was, focused on games that are coming out soon. And I feel like we didn't get a lot of stuff that we really, really wanted. We got the Smash and the Mario Kart stuff, which was great. But everything else was kind of just expected.
There was that indie game showcase, which had a couple of good indie titles. As you know, I'm the indie guy.
It looked good, yeah.
Yeah, like Don't Starve is coming to Wii U for those that haven't played it. Like, the only big one is Affordable Space Adventures, which I thought was going to have its own little segment because it's been kind of getting some hype lately. And it comes out, like, in 5 days, so I thought that would be a good focus for them because that game is awesome. What else?
No, yeah, didn't get its own segment.
No.
Isaac wasn't shown, and Isaac is now confirmed for 3DS, by the way.
For new 3DS.
Yeah, new 3DS.
Yeah, which I don't have, but that's okay. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm very, very excited for Edmund to finally get a game on a Nintendo console because I have a feeling that the childhood gamer has dreamed of that, for him.
Right.
Yeah,
that was like probably a dream for a long time. It's nice that finally happens, and I might actually bug Edmund for a code.
For a Wii U one, yeah.
For the 3DS.
There's a really cool puzzly looking game which had the shittiest art style or aesthetics called like Box Boy, but the mechanics looked awesome, and I think that's out now. I might actually pick that up because it looked gameplay wise, it looked really smart, and you know me, I like my smart games, so I'll probably get
smart.
that.
It looked good. Yeah, it looked like a very interesting way to solve puzzles, but it looks like a Game Boy game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it costs either. But I mean, if it's really well designed and it's substantial enough in content, then it doesn't really matter to me what it looks like too much. I mean, it all depends on the game. Some games I do certainly dive into in part because of the aesthetics.
Right.
Other games I couldn't give, two shits. So, but that's one where I think if it's fun enough, I won't care too much.
Yeah, I mean, I would be probably down to play a game like that too because it looked good. It looked like a lot of thought was put into it.
Yeah.
Then there was I want to talk about the Fire Emblem and the Shin Megami Tensei. I don't presume to know anything about anime. Mm-hmm. I don't presume to know anything about J-pop. But the Shin Megami Tensei game that is the Fire Emblem crossover game.
Yeah.
I did not see a lot of Fire Emblem in there.
No. I struggled. Like the really vague symbolism to Fire Emblem was like you saw some guys that would fight with a sword, some would fight with a lance, and they would be on horses, So I can see that, like really vague Fire Emblem type inclusions, but for the most part, it just felt like a shittier Persona based on the trailer. Like the thing is, I like Atlus's games. Their RPGs. I've always enjoyed them, and I've played Persona, and it kind of has that it's like a Shin Megami Tensei game with pop sensibilities. That's what Persona is. But Persona at least has a really defined and focused style when you're playing one of them, like between 3 and 4 and what's coming up with 5. They have their themes down really focused, and their style is really focused and really refined. This one was just like I don't know. Like they just took like 10 different styles and barfed it onto a Nintendo console. Like that's how I felt about it when I was watching the trailer. I was like, it's like Persona, but with no focus whatsoever, and no Fire Emblem. No Fire Emblem.
Yeah, the Fire Emblem. It was very light on the Fire Emblem aspect of things, and then I think I discovered later on that it's going to be like this not open world, but like this big RPG, and then there's a secret world where Fire Emblem people fight, and it's like. So, okay, people are walking around maybe with a 3DS or similar device, and you do these things in the Persona type world, the Shin Megami world, and then you just bust out your like game console and play some Fire Emblem with people in the game.
That's not a crossover.
That just sounds like real life, except you're adding another layer to it with like anime. And I don't know, it did nothing for me, and I don't know what the game is going to be about. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but I had to mute the stream.
Yeah, I mean,
I had to mute it.
And the thing is, I don't want our listeners to be mistaken. I actually like I said, I like Atlus's games and I like Fire Emblem's games. Those are two great series, and I feel like a crossover, while it's a very strange pairing, I feel like it could be doable, but not in the form that we've seen so far. Like it hasn't, I don't know, hasn't done anything for me. So
No.
but on that note, what they showed of the actual new Fire Emblem was awesome.
I was very pleased with that.
I was really happy with that. It kind of reminded me of. Did you play Fire Emblem 7, which was the very first one for Game Boy Advance with Lyn and Hector? And
I didn't beat it, but I played a good chunk of it, and I liked it a lot.
Kind of reminds me of that, because in that game you picked from one of the three characters, and one of them was Lyn, which was basically the tutorial, and then Hector and Eliwood were the other two, and those were a lot harder campaigns. That's what it reminded me of, because how they said how that peace-loving kingdom is kind of easier than the war-loving kingdom, or whatever it was.
Right. Hoshido and Nor, I believe, were the names.
Yes. And the cutscenes look great. The plot looked like it's going to be very interesting. And Fire Emblem's never sold me too well on plot. I mostly play it for the tactics and the gameplay and the characters a lot of times, but the plot's never really done it for me too much. But this looks really intriguing, and
it does.
I'm excited for it.
As a huge Fire Emblem Awakening fan, I've played through that game twice, once off stream and once on stream. I'm definitely hyped for this one, and I know that I'll be choosing the North side already, because they said it's going to be more challenging, and it seems like it's going to be a darker, more interesting plot where you have to kind of revolutionize this evil empire from the inside. So, yeah, very good. Definitely hyped for Fire Emblem. That's going to be 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. I don't want to talk too much about that because I never played it, the original. But I do know that Shulk's face looks like a blurry, like swabbed Q-tip.
Yeah, it was like that in the Wii version too, and I think it looks worse on the new 3DS. Personally,
doesn't look great.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear that beeping outside, but
I thought that was a harmonica.
No, someone was beeping outside. But yeah, I like Xenoblade a lot. I thought it was a really great game, but the facial meshes are horrendous. They were horrendous in the Wii version, and they look horrendous in the new one. Why that trailer was so mind-boggling, because they spent so much time zoomed in on people's faces. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I could be
like ultra zoomed in.
Like I could be misremembering. Maybe it's just exaggerated in my mind because it sticks out so poorly. But like, why would they do that? I don't know. But
I noticed that too. It was a baffling decision.
But you should get it. I mean, because if you never played Xenoblade and you know a little bit more about Shulk, thanks to Smash Bros.
Monado power.
Monado, and you should pick it up if you, I don't know, if you're looking for an interesting RPG, and you have a new 3DS. So that's the big exclusive right now, I guess, besides Isaac. If you would call that a big exclusive to anyone besides us. It's not really. So I think you should pick it up, but that's just me.
I will consider it. Let me see how much more monster hunting I can do before I get completely burnt out on that game, and then I'll think about Xenoblade. Now, I wanted to talk about the Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. Wait, no, I didn't. I wanted to talk about what?
I wanted to say a couple things about that. It's really small things.
It's not for me. I love Animal Crossing so much, but that's not for me.
I don't like the card aspect. I think it's kind of an unnecessary splinter off of Amiibos. Like, now we have Amiibo cards. Like, that was kind of like silly to me.
Amiibos, no thanks.
Card Amiibos, yeah. But from a game design standpoint, I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's necessarily my thing either. But when you think about it, there are a lot of people who played Animal Crossing purely and would focus a lot on their home design. Even though, I mean, eventually they introduced like the critics that would come to your house and tell you how synergistic your house was. Yeah. But before that, there wasn't really anything to incentivize that, and people would really dig into it and like really arrange their house and theme their rooms. And the new game is not for the typical Animal Crossing fan. It's for specifically those people who really spent a lot of time in Animal Crossing doing, home design. So with that distilled into its own game, I think it's all right. It's not necessarily my game, but I can understand why it exists, and I don't think it's a bad idea at all.
I just don't know if it's its own game. I don't know if it's going to be on a cartridge, like you have to buy it, or is it going to be a downloadable game that's only like $15? Because if it's a full price game, then I'm not sure that that's a good thing. But only time will tell. When we get more information, we can decide.
Yeah. What did you want to go on to before I forced you to talk about Animal Crossing?
I'm really feeling Mario Kart 8 DLC.
So good. The big highlight for me, like the new cups and stuff are awesome. And that's what really excited me when they first announced DLC was like 4 new cups. I was like, yeah, that's great. Yeah. But 200cc is genius. It looks so fun. Oh my Lord. I cannot wait.
Now, when you say fun, you mean fall off the level twice as much.
Yeah. Great. I mean, because it'll feel that much better when you actually do get a hang of it. And it's just going to be so hectic and ridiculous. What I want to know is, are they also ramping up AI? Because, between 50, 100, and 150cc, each one isn't just faster, but also the AI is more aggressive and plays more smartly and more perfectly. I'm wondering if they're ramping up the AI in 200 as well, or if they're just increasing the speed. Because if they're ramping up AI, I almost feel like it's going to be too much. I had a hard enough time with 150cc's AI, but that speed is going to be great. Even if it's just a clusterfuck and impossible at first, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's the thing about Mario Kart that a lot of people have criticized. It's just the speed. You get a sense of speed with 150. It's not slow, but there's so many other games that you could get that if people that are really looking for that sense of speed, they would pick up before Mario Kart.
Right.
Now, 200cc, it looks really fucking fast, really hectic.
Really fast.
And I can imagine this is going to be for experts, people who are really, really like excellent at Mario Kart 150cc. I think it's great. I think it's a great addition. I am not looking forward to dying as much and losing because, when you play with your friends in Mario Kart and you kick all of their asses and you're like, yeah, I'm good at this game. And then you go online, 8th, 12th, 11th. So I know with 200cc, it's just going to be a constant like between 8th and 12th. So that's going to be soul crushing. But aside from that, it's a great addition and it looks great. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, that was a good way to end the direct, I thought. I don't know.
And then the DLC itself, the Animal Crossing level looked cool, and it's nice to get the new characters and everything.
Oh, and more Amiibo suit functionalities, because like my main character right now in Mario Kart 8, or the one I go to most, is Amiibo, because I have a Samus Amiibo, and the suit that you get when you tap it is awesome, and now they're adding more of it. So like I think that's a really cool way to customize. Some of the suits look really cool.
They look great, yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing that with Smash as well.
They are, and there's multiple waves of it. We're only getting wave 1 that we've seen, and there's probably going to be wave 2, 3. Who knows? As long as it's profitable, why not?
Yeah.
Speaking of profitable, may I delve into the issue, or do you want to wrap up on Mario Kart?
I don't think there's anything else too much to say about Mario Kart or any other big Nintendo Direct things that come to mind. Like Yoshi looked cool. The
amiibo, the Yoshi woolly amiibo looked cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that looks super cool. I'm definitely gonna pick one of those up. It's fucking adorable. I'm gonna see. I know it is.
I really want that.
But are you gonna get any of the new amiibos they've been announcing besides that?
Robin.
Robin.
Oh God, Robin. I want that Yoshi one, the yarn one.
Yeah,
and I also probably want. That's it.
I wanted a Ness, but then, that was available to some people
for all of 5 minutes.
Yeah, for a couple minutes, and we didn't manage to snag one, but maybe next time. Maybe. But I mean, otherwise, so you wanted to talk about. You are a YouTube content creator. Is that the issue that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to mention there's been I've bitched about this before, but I'd like to formally bitch about this because I could sing praises and I could toot a horn directly up Nintendo's ass about how much I like their games and how much I like the Wii U and what the games that are coming out for it are really good. But I can tell you that a lot of people are upset, and it's like, the thing is, if you are on YouTube and you put any Nintendo content on YouTube, Nintendo gets that. And it's something that a lot of YouTubers have been crying about. It like just today I saw one. I'm not going to say who. And I saw a number of other people bitching about this. And it's worth going over again, because as much as we love Nintendo, I think it's always a good idea to present their ugly side and their archaic side, because it's too much otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
They take basically whatever you do, and they take the money for it. And the issue is, you have people who are going to be making less Nintendo-related content on YouTube. A lot of big YouTubers will now no longer cover Nintendo games. And that is basically the death of free advertising for Nintendo. Now, I feel like it's annoying. I feel like it's awful that they would do that. I mean, they got a content share revenue thing where after 3 days you can get 60% of your video. And the problem with that is the first 3 days are vital. And the other problem with that is they then own your video. And if they don't like something about it, they could, have a problem with it. And that's not good. So YouTubers are now not making Nintendo content because they don't want to put 20 hours of editing into a video and not get paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question is, are you going to continue uploading Nintendo content to your channel?
Yes.
Oh. So what does that involve exactly? What are you going to have to do with Nintendo in order to do that?
Make a lot of cuts.
Really?
Well, yeah. That's what I've been doing for a long time. But the thing is, my Full Sauce channel, any Nintendo video, it's just claimed. Nintendo takes it. Majora's Mask, the whole playthrough, Nintendo's got all that. So whatever money I might have made, even if it was only, say, $100 for all of my Majora's Mask streaming that's on YouTube, Nintendo basically has that.
So here's another question about Nintendo's intentions. Do you feel that they've done this thinking that the money that they would get from claimed content would outweigh the money that they would get from anyone who is brought in by free advertising? Or do you feel that Nintendo did it because they can assert their dominance and establish domino? And they can smell your fear. But do you feel that they said, okay, well, we're Nintendo. They're gonna make content for us, even if we impose these strict rules, and we can claim money on it, and it's a double win for us. Do you feel it was more the latter, like that, or the former, where they just felt it was better from a business standpoint, which it blatantly isn't, if you ask me, but what do I know?
I think there are plenty of people in Nintendo of America that know what's up, and they know that business standpoint would be to let these people do their thing and get the free advertising. Because if you establish buzz, a lot of big YouTubers are playing Nintendo games and having fun with them, and they will, because guess what? There's a lot of good games for the Wii U that people will enjoy. They want to see Smash Brothers matches, they want to see Mario Party matches. But if people aren't making them because they know that their editing will go to waste, their hours of editing will go to waste, then there's no point. So I think the decision was from Nintendo of Japan, and I feel like Nintendo of Japan is just behind. They're like, oh, yes, money. That's it. I think they just feel like there's an opportunity for free money, and they're like, gambate, good luck. And they're
so it's actually established dominance on the YouTube
I think they're establishing dominance.
Yeah,
because they see the dollar signs in the short term, but they're not. They're probably too pig-headed to see what it really means.
Them shareholders, man. I mean, it's a good thing that our shareholders are so understanding. Our shareholders being, our viewers.
Our viewers.
They're great. We have a really wonderful community. And,
we do.
And we can just do what we want to do. We can, fuck them in the butt for all of their money. And
all of them.
They're fine with it.
You want a gold T-shirt? You want to be a rapper? Yeah, we got a gold T-shirt. But no. Let's. I want to be honest for a second about something.
Sure.
When it comes to my Nintendo stuff, it's on full sauce, even though I don't make money from it. All I'm doing is streaming the game, and then it goes on there. So I don't need to make money from that. I don't care.
Right.
Like, as long as it's there for people to watch and enjoy, I'm happy. However, if I'm going to spend 10 to 20 hours editing one of my videos, which can happen sometimes, maybe it'll be 5 hours. Sometimes it'll be 15 hours of editing, depending like if it's shovelware showcase.
Right.
If it involves a Nintendo game, I'm always under the gun in thinking that I might not be able to monetize, which even though it probably won't make too much of a difference, and even though I'm not an overly greedy person, got to be honest, I can live a modest life. I will say this. When you have the bigger YouTubers that aren't covering Nintendo games because of that exact reason, then Nintendo loses their free advertising. And that's kind of where I'm trying to say, as much as I love Nintendo, they have their head firmly planted up their ass.
Yeah, a lot of times.
And I'm seeing a trend. More and more YouTubers are jumping down Nintendo's throat, and they're like, nope, I'm done. I'm done. Me, I'm not done. But I just cut a lot, and I corrupted a lot, and it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, if you corrupt it enough, eventually it will have changed enough bytes that you are under law not bound to the copyright, the original material, right?
I corrupted so much that I become the new legal owner of it.
Until Marvin Gaye's estate's attorney contacts you, then you're fucked. If
I got that reference.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, that was something else.
Wasn't that awful?
As musicians, I'm sure. I mean, I just knew that you would share that kind of outrage that I had about that court decision. And now they have precedents. So because that's how law works. If there's a court precedence, then they can cite that in future rulings. Mm-hmm. So now that precedence exists, other people can use it to make similar claims that they did. For those that don't know, basically, Robin Thicke, as much of a total tool bag that guy is, and as much as Blurred Lines is just the scummiest, shittiest song.
Yes.
The Marvin Gaye estate sued Robin Thicke and Pharrell over Blurred Lines because it shared the same feel as a Marvin Gaye song. And
right.
There might be a couple of reasons why they lost regardless, just because like Robin Thicke made a total tool of himself in court. Did you hear about this?
I didn't, no.
So in order to prove a point about the two songs, he got up to testify, and he got a keyboard out in front of them and sang some songs, like about how these two songs share the same structure or the same chord progression, but they're not at all similar. But apparently he just kind of made a jackass of himself and seemed really egotistical, and that did not go well with the jury.
Jesus.
But needless to say, the songs, even if you listen to the two songs, there's no grounds for copyright claim there, or like to say that there's plagiarism. Like they share some vague similarities, sure, but not any more than like 80% of music can do.
Right.
These days.
How many chord progressions in pop music are used over and over and over again?
It's absurd. It's totally absurd. And then they won the Robin Thicke lost, and because the Marvin Gaye song, its feel was stolen.
Its feel was stolen. You know,
they listened to it. They said, we gotta get this feel, man. No one will notice.
Come on, it's infuriating. Just to think of something that absurd, and then you have, me. I get inspired by music sometimes, and I'll like I wanted to write something that sounded a bit like a Talking Head song.
Right.
So I started playing my guitar in a similar style to maybe David Byrne, and I came up with something.
You're not going to like our listeners' mail when the email we got from Mr. Byrne about songs you've been writing.
Vinny, I've been listening to your music in your jam sessions, and I've determined that your song, Too Funky for Me, is actually a ripoff of a Talking Heads song called Burning Down the House.
They're both same as they ever was.
The same as they ever was. Holy shit.
Yeah. But anyway,
that's sad.
Yeah. But so yeah, video games. I had to talk a little bit about that just because it got brought up with copyright.
I love it. I'm glad we could. You know what? I'll talk about anything that's interesting, and that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is a podcast about games and life, as it's put. It doesn't have to all be video games. I like talking about other mediums too. Yeah. Like I think
70% video games is pretty good.
Yeah. But So I got a PS4. yesterday. Are we done with Nintendo Direct? Did you?
Yeah, we're done with Nintendo.
Okay.
Fuck Nintendo Direct and fuck Nintendo.
My experience.
No, but you get the idea.
Yeah. So we got a PS4, and it's been good. Like, it kind of gives me the feeling that I got when I first bought a PlayStation 2. That I did not get that feeling with the PS3 because there weren't a lot of games that I could imagine myself getting in the future. There were just a couple that were already out, and they were very much new franchises. Whereas with the PS4, I'm getting it. I got it with Bloodborne, which is the successor to the Souls games, which I really love a lot.
Same developer.
Yeah, the same director as Dark Souls 1. He's been working on Bloodborne ever since Dark Souls 1 was done, and then Dark Souls 2 is a different studio, just so you have an idea. Final Fantasy 15 is going to come out eventually, and I'm going to get it for PS4. Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to come out. And, of course, when I got my PS2, I got Metal Gear Solid 2 with it. So, to me, that there's a weird parallel between me getting this PS4 and when I got the PS2. So that's kind of cool. I've been enjoying Bloodborne. It's really good. They've really interconnected the world in a very big way, like even more than Dark Souls. It's very brutal, but it rewards aggression and yeah, it rewards assertiveness and aggressiveness more than the other ones, which were more slow and methodical. Like, this is still methodical, but you got to be on your toes.
Sure.
And the world's really nice. The game's good. It's a really good game. I wish I didn't have to download a patch for about 12 hours before I could play it. And I'm exaggerating. I was able to play it before the patch was done. About 6 hours in, I decided to just play it without the patch and let the patch download in the background. But right now, I don't know if it's PSN, which apparently some people are having issues with right now, or a combination of our router being shitty with our PS4. But right now, the internet is pretty fucked. We got it working for like a good hour or two today at decent download rates, so I picked up Axiom Verge. Which I'll talk about.
Yeah, that's the Metroidvania game.
Yep, and I downloaded PT, which is a Silent Hill demo. Silent Hills.
Right, that's correct.
So I'll be streaming that soon.
Yeah.
And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So yeah, it was up long enough for me to get those things, but now it's kind of fucked again. But we got everything that we needed from the network. Axiom Verge looks cool. I haven't played it yet. I'm gonna stream it maybe tonight or tomorrow, but it's getting really good reviews. Have you seen a lot about it? I
actually just looked, when you mentioned it earlier, I took a look at a video on YouTube and it looks great.
Yeah, I mean, the reviews have been saying it's very much the best Metroid game since Super Metroid. And the game, like, unabashedly is a Metroid game. Like, down to the environment and the atmosphere and the gameplay. It's not like other ones which borrowed things from Metroid and you can compare it to Metroid. This one feels like a Metroid game. It feels like a successor to Super Metroid, supposedly. I haven't played it yet.
When I look at this game, yeah, it's exactly that. There's no way around it. It looks so similar to, except your main character is Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, but that's okay.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of doofy. Like, whenever I saw like the gameplay trailers, and even the character sprite looks a little weird to me. Because it changes the sense of scale. Like, when you see Samus, it's like the same tile set, but Samus is like 4 tiles tall, whereas this guy's body, his entire body, is 1 tile tall. So it changes the feeling of the environment because all of a sudden everything seems huge, even though the tiles are roughly the same size as they were in Super Metroid. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a different feel. But that's okay.
I mean, it looks great despite that. I mean, I'm looking at something of a video of it right now, and this is not coming out for anything else. It's just going to be on PS4.
Yeah. Or no, it's PS4 exclusive for an
6
undetermined.
months?
Yeah, I don't know how long, but it will be on Steam eventually as well.
Okay.
I don't think I want to say it's not going to be too long, but I really don't know. I mean, exclusivity has been spotty. Some places haven't had any, like Rebirth didn't have any exclusivity. Whereas Oddworld New and Tasty had like about you're right, about 6 months. I want to say there was one other game that had about 1 month, but I can't think of what it was. So, but let's hope it's not long because this game looks awesome and I want more people to check it out.
Well, now that we're getting Isaac on, the Nintendo stuff, I'm just curious though. That wasn't an exclusivity thing. That was more just Nintendo agreeing to make it happen, right?
Correct. They were, I guess they were in talks for a while, and they spent a long time trying to get it to work on the vanilla 3DS, and it could never run in a way that they were happy with, which is why it's only new 3DS now. Like, because I'm sure there are people that are like, how come? It's such a simple looking game. But no, apparently they've been trying to get it to work on a regular 3DS. I'm sure it can work, but not in any shape that they were happy with. I mean, 3DS is dated, which is weird to say. It came out about, 4 years ago now?
Yeah, the 3DS, the original 3DS came out about 4 years ago, and this new one is still, like, it's better. It's got the better processing power, but Shulk's face still looks like a fucking Q-tip.
And that's a problem. That's mostly a problem with the game, though. I would think it's a problem with the game than the new 3DS's power.
It's still, the new 3DS still doesn't feel like a sequel. It feels like a minor upgrade.
It feels like the DSi,
It does, but I mean, it's got some more power under the hood. The thing is, I don't know how much power is under the hood, and as a result, it doesn't feel like an entirely separate entity.
Yeah, apparently whatever extra power it had was enough for Rebirth, at least. But
that's good.
But yeah, I mean, it's weird. The 3DS is 4 years old, so not only is it dated hardware in that sense, but even when it came out, people were saying that it was dated, like that it was underpowered for where it should be when you look at, the Vita, which just looks beautiful, but doesn't have like the games to back it up.
Right.
So, I mean,
it's unfortunate, but when you look at like Monster Hunter on the new 3DS, like with the upgraded textures and everything, it looks good. It runs well, looks good, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, it's such a small screen that you're not really too concerned about the graphics. As long as they're functional, they look pleasing to the eye. However, the Vita looks amazing. It's just, like you said, what are we going to buy for it?
Yeah. I mean, if I got a Vita, I'd probably get Spelunky because, Spelunky while I poop sounds good to me.
Spelunky while I poop in the morning.
Spelunky while I poop in the evening.
So what about, I wanted to talk a little bit about Bloodborne for just a second, because the game, you mentioned it for a second, but here's the thing. Is it as difficult as Dark Souls?
Yes.
Do you get that similar feel?
Yes, but in different ways. Like, because there are enemies I feel are more plentiful, but a little bit weaker. Well, that's not even fair to say. It just feels differently because, like I said, there's no shields anymore. You just get there is one shield, but it's more of a joke than anything. Your offhand weapon is always a gun instead of a shield. And it rewards you for being aggressive in a lot of smart ways. Like, okay, so like in Dark Souls, when you would take damage, the chunk of health meter that disappeared due to damage would be orange for a second. And then it would just disappear and shrink down to where it actually is, just as a visual effect, kind of like some feedback, so you get an idea of just how much damage you took. Bloodborne takes that and refines it into an actual mechanic where if you damage an enemy while that orange is still there, you'll recover it. You'll recover it instead. You'll recover health equal to the damage that you deal. So if you take damage and you're fast to damage the enemy in return to like do an aggressive counterattack, you can recover most of the health that you lost. So there's some really smart new mechanics. Overall, I think it's easier than Dark Souls. The first boss that I got to was horseshit for me. I don't know if it was a unique thing for me to struggle with, but it was mostly not because it was a hard boss. Like, he was definitely difficult, but I struggled with the camera, which was a big problem in that fight. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, because it was a very narrow arena. And then you fight the boss up against the walls a lot of the time. So the camera is kind of shifting between you and the wall and the boss itself if you're locked on, and it was a bit messy. But the second boss was the coolest boss. I think my favorite boss so far in the whole series. Like, I had such a good time fighting the second boss, and it was such a great fight and such a well-designed fight and a cool character that the boss was. But to answer your question, sorry, I'm totally digressing.
That's okay. That's fine.
Bloodborne. But I feel it is as difficult as Dark Souls, but it's more forgiving, I would say.
Right, okay.
It's still brutal. It still can be brutal, But I don't know. I don't think you'll have as much trouble with it as you had with Dark Souls, because we're trained as gamers to be aggressive a lot of the times, especially for action games. And you kind of interpret the Souls games to be action games, but even though they aren't completely action games, they're more, action RPGs. But for being aggressive in Dark Souls, you get punished a lot. And because it's our instinct to be aggressive, it feels extremely punishing until you learn to not be so aggressive. In Bloodborne, if you're too aggressive, you can still get fucked, but they do reward that aggression enough that those gamer instincts no longer are a huge obstacle.
Okay.
You can still rush in and mash the button a little bit and not get screwed too bad, as long as you have the common sense to know when to pull out.
Okay, that makes sense. And that's important in life. You got to know when to pull out.
Yeah.
Always.
It's important in non-life. But
here's the other thing. Did you hear about that new game where it's a simulator of actually doing the trash and like rustling bags? Did you hear about that one?
Job Simulator?
No. It's where like you're playing a video game and you rustle bags and you can hear them faintly in the background. And you also take out the trash.
Oh. No, I haven't heard about this.
It's where you record a podcast and there's a faint noise of bag rustling.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hang on 1 second. Carrie, we can hear that really loudly.
Well, excuse me.
Excuse me, princess. Yeah, I mean, is it super loud?
No, it was just too good of an opportunity to pass up.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Tell her that she has to sit in silence like a Zen Buddhist.
You must sit in silence like a Zen Buddhist.
No.
All right, fair enough. All right, hey, if that's how it's gonna go, bruh. Sick reference.
No, it's fine. We're just giving you shit.
That's all it is. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk for a moment just before we move on to any segments we have. I want to just kind of see anything else that you're playing at the moment that you might want to talk about.
I've been playing Captain Forever Remix, which I've told you all about, where you control a spaceship in kind of a Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic, where you're piloting. It's a 2D plane and you're piloting through space, and you destroy enemies and you pull the pieces of their ship and instantly it just attach them to your ship. So you're constantly destroying enemies, rebuilding, and eventually you get this like monstrosity of a ship. Sometimes really well designed, depending on the pieces you get. Sometimes it's just like this uneven, like gross mass that just somehow works, and it's a lot of fun. It's a throwback to this browser game called Captain Forever. That was really well done, and then someone asked for permission to use that IP to make a new version of it, and so that's what he did, and it's called Captain Forever Remix. Really enjoying it.
I have a key for that, and I look forward to playing it. I'll actually be streaming it at some point next week. So
you want to give it away on the podcast? You could just read it out loud, and whoever happens to be at the computer.
I have that spare key. Hang on a second.
Sure.
Hang on. Let me grab it. Because I actually want to play it, and I have one to give away as well. Captain Forever. Here we go. Let me grab this now. Hang on. I have to make sure this is the right one because I have a few keys. They were very generous, I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know which key I gave out and which key I didn't. So
here, I can get one too because I got sent a few.
Here, no, I got one.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
VLDEM-QRM6F-6H76T.
There you go. So someone is going to enjoy the shit out of Captain Forever Remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome game. I have a lot of memories of playing the original Captain Forever, so it was really cool to see it come back to life in such a unique way and a really well-designed way. So, but no, otherwise, can't think of anything else I've really been playing too much that's worth talking about. I've been playing a roguelike called Tales of Magile. That's pretty cool, but, really, really dry stuff, so I'm not even going to get into it.
Yeah.
Has there anything you've been playing?
Well, I've been playing still some Monster Hunter from time to time. We have a Monster Hunter group now that I made on Steam, and that's going well. I've been playing. I played Vagante a bit. I streamed a bit of it, and that was actually really fun. It's hard, but it's quite enjoyable, and I look forward to playing more of it.
You can definitely see the Spelunky influence in Vagante.
It's so Spelunky influence.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible how Spelunky it is.
Yeah. But it's good. I've played it a bit too. I've been meaning to stream it since Kyle gave me a key for it 6 months ago, and I just haven't because I'm a terrible, terrible friend. But yeah, that game Vagante it was made by Vinesauce Viewer for those, or at least he's the primary programmer on it, SSJ Metroid, and he's been a long time Vinesaucer, so it's kind of cool to see his game. I remember hanging out with him and Fred at Fred's house, and him talking about this cool new game that he and a couple buddies were prototyping, and he was like, I should just quit my job and focus on making this game full time, and just become an indie developer. And then here we are, 2 years later or whatever it is since that hangout, and he's doing exactly that. So
and we interviewed him at PAX. They had their own booth and everything. So I mean, it's kind of amazing. Yeah. But I mean, it just shows you that here we are doing nothing. Yeah. But then you have people from Vinesauce that are actually in some cases getting very successful. So I mean, that's great, and I'm so happy for Kyle. And the game is really good. Yep. That's the other thing too. It's not a bad game at all. It's actually a really fun game. It's just hard, and there's a lot of love put into the way the game flows, and it's I get what they're doing. It's just hard.
Right. So it is very difficult. But
I've been playing one more game. Mm-hmm. Rust.
Oh yeah, Rust. Yeah, I still haven't gotten it, but
I just want to talk about it for a second because they did a great job. Face Punch put so much work into Rust, and they scrapped their old build because it was running on an engine that was stitched together on sticks and stones, really. And basically what they ended up doing was abandoning their previous engine and going with the new Unity engine built from scratch. Yeah. So they've been working on this for about a year, maybe a little bit less. And finally, it's in fine form. It's really fun. It's strikingly good looking. And there's so many options for survival. The building is great. The survival stuff is great. The game is running better and better each time they update it. And we have a Vinesauce server that Reds actually made. So if anyone is listening and you want to play some Rust on the Vinesauce server, it's just go to modded in the Rust servers and search for Vinesauce server PvP or whatever. Or you can go to our forums and look for it in the video game section. You'll see the Vinesauce Rust server post, and you can go there. So play with us, and it's a lot of fun. And I've been really loving it, and the updates are just making the game better and better. And here's the other thing. Here's a game that was released more or less early access over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago. The updates are still coming, and they're still really, really substantial updates.
That's good.
So these guys at Face Punch are really, for me, they're proving what a developer can do to make their audience happy, which is to keep working on it. And even though it's early access, still, it feels like a full, fleshed out experience. So kudos to them. They really did a great job, and I'm excited to play more of that too. So,
cool. Yeah, I mean, I can't say much on it. It's I don't know if I'll get it. It doesn't look like my type of game, but I'm sure I would have a good time, especially doing co-op. So maybe eventually.
Yeah.
You ready for Greenlight Guess?
I am ready for Greenlight Guess. Greenlight Guess.
So Greenlight Guess is a segment we do where I take user-submitted fake descriptions of video games, and as well as actual descriptions from real video games that are on Steam's Greenlight service, where people vote and try to get their games on Steam. So there's fake ones, made up, and then there are real ones, and you do not know which are which, you just guess. So, you ready?
I'm ready, and I have no advanced knowledge of which of these games are real and which of the games are fake.
Okay. The year is 2420. An uprising on Dog Planet threatens not only Dog Planet, but the universe itself.
I would say that's real.
That is indeed real. It's called Galaxy Bash: The Battle for Dog Planet. Let me link you here.
Fucking Dog Planet.
I didn't actually watch any of the trailers or anything this time because this was thrown together relatively quickly. But yeah, Dog Planet. All right. Next one.
You know, there's a game called Cat Planet. So I was almost tricked into thinking that was fake.
Oh.
But I just figured that doesn't sound too fake. You know, there could be Dog Planet. Why not?
Why not?
And it's real.
Yep. Birdie Doo. You're a bird with explosive poop. Use it to fly between saw blades to go and kill the evil boss Ostricino.
You know, it's funny because I've played games that sounded like that before. My repertoire of shitty games, like I have a whole history of games that are similar. I'm gonna say fake though.
That is indeed fake. Good job. That was submitted by Gavin, one of our viewers. So, or
thanks for that,
listeners, I
Gavin.
should say. Yeah,
you should make that game. I'll play it.
All right. Floating through a dream, a young boy is lost. He has had a dream before, but never like these. Will you help the buoy wake up from his galaxy dream? Find the oxygen tanks scattered in space and give the boy breath. If he stops breathing in space, he will stay asleep for good. Help the boy wake up in time to clean the litter box.
Now, as you said that, there was one word I didn't quite catch. Did you say buoy?
I did say buoy. It says, "Would you help the buoy wake up from his galaxy dream?"
Fucking hell.
Will you help the buoy?
I am so tempted to say that that's real. I'm gonna say it's real.
That is fake as well. It was submitted by B. It is not a real game. Nope. So you are
God
2 for
damn
3.
it. Okay.
Gotcha.
The
All right.
buoy.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
Superb Saint Mary, platforms, and the holy sprint. What more could you want?
How about a better fucking description to start?
That's it. Superb Saint Mary, platforms, and the holy sprint. What more could you want?
It's real.
That is fake as well. That was submitted by Payne. Just Payne, I guess.
It sounded too creative and obscure to be fake, but
it was good. I like that one. The holy sprint.
I don't know what that means, but all right. That's good.
All right. Shit happened in the Magic Kingdom. The princess's fuck pipe has clogged, and only the brave plumber can deal with this shit.
Fuck pipe. Her fuck pipe is clogged?
Yep.
Brave plumber. Oh my God. Are you putting, it's the real are indistinguishable from the fake at this point.
Now,
and it's
yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead.
No, it would give things away, so I don't want to say it. I'll say my comment after you've guessed real or fake. The princess's fuck pipe has clogged.
It sounds like someone who watches too much Vine Sauce made that up, because I say things like that a lot. So I'm gonna say fake.
That is real, actually.
Fucking
a game. It's called Shit Happened in the Magic Kingdom. I just linked you to the Greenlight page. Now, here's what I was gonna say that would have given it away. On Steam, in the description, they can't display a lot of those words, so I guessed. That could have been the princess's shit pipe had clogged, which probably would have been less lewd. That might be my mistake. But then only the brave plumber can deal with this blank. So that could have been something else too. But that's how I interpret it. So.
This fucking game.
I know. It looks terrible. It looks so bad. I just looked at some screenshots and watched a little bit of footage. And it's a mess.
It looks like a 3D version of Super Mario.
Yeah, pretty much.
No
Shit
question.
happened in the Magic Kingdom.
No question. All right, yeah, that's a fun one.
All right. Have you ever wanted to be a orbiting satellite fighting for a small, minimalistic, cute planet, which is being invaded by stylish-looking aliens? Now you can. Presenting Protect Thy Sphere Thingy, Endless Shooter.
That sounds real.
That is real. It's called Protect Thy Sphere Thingy.
Yeah.
Yep, linking you to the page. There you go. Good job. So you are currently 3 for 6, 50%.
I'm watching Mayro shoot like a fucked up Bowser with a shotgun right now. So I'm just this fucking game that you linked me to. There's no way they're going. This isn't going to get.
There's just no way. There's no way.
The copyright stuff alone, but the game looks like a just total dog shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Super Kawaii Turtle Fighter is a
Fake.
fast... You want me to finish?
It's fake.
Okay, well, you're wrong. It's real.
God
First
damn
off.
it. All right, go ahead. Read it.
The description is Super Kawaii Turtle Fighter is a fast-paced turtle fighting game featuring a variety of kawaii turtles. Stretching your turtleneck and using your stamina to slide around are key to getting the upper hand on your turtle opponents. It is real indeed. I'm going to link you.
Unbelievable.
Yep. You are 3 for 7.
Kawaii Turtle Fighter.
Kawaii. I know. I chose that one specifically because it sounded so fake. Like, it sounds so deliberately made up. But it's not. It's real. So you can never feel too safe about your assumptions here.
I know. And you know what's funny? I'm actually watching the trailer. It doesn't look terrible.
No.
It looks okay.
All right. Mario Kart meets Madden with dogs. Hall of Fame wide receiver Jerry Rice and his dog Nidus hit the K9 gridiron for some family-friendly 7-on-7 action. Sports just aren't for humans anymore. The dogs have turned pro as they compete alongside their owners for the coveted Golden Hydrant. It's non-stop lick your face and wag your tail action for the whole family.
You know, I would say that that's real, except I don't think they could have gotten the rights to Jerry Rice, so I'm going to say fake.
That is real, actually. It is called...
How did they get...
It is called Jerry Rice and Nidus's Dog Football.
What the fuck?
I know, right? Well, keep in mind, this isn't like a published game. I'm sure if they were to get on Steam, like if it got approved and started to make money and got Jerry Rice's attention, you know, because this can be submitted by anyone, and I guess I don't know.
He's in the trailer.
Really? Like the actual
Jerry
guy?
Rice is backing this, yeah.
Oh. I didn't look into it that deeply, but apparently... Oh.
It was on the Wii. It was apparently a Wii game that they're trying to port over to Steam.
Jeez.
And it's
wait, so you
out
could get
already.
this. You could buy this right now.
Okay, if you're listening, anyone who can find Jerry Rice and Nidus Dog Football, please send me an email. I need this game.
Shovelware Showcase right there.
Shovelware Showcase right up the bat. I don't even know what that means, but all right, yeah.
Right up the bat.
It's right up the bat.
All right, next one. Surgery emergency. You are a surgeon who has accidentally stapled his thumb 47 times. Can you remove the staples before they dissolve into your skin?
Fake.
That is fake. You are correct. It is. That was submitted by Payne as well, who submitted the St. Mary one earlier. So good job. All right. Brace yourself.
Mm-hmm. Frozen
Olaf, give daddy the cummies. I'll say it again.
Say it again.
Frozen Olaf, give daddy the cummies. Frozen Olaf, give daddy the cummies.
That's it?
That's it. That's
fake.
That is fake. That was submitted by Bredo Top, and I loved it so much. Frozen Olaf, give daddy the cummies. I haven't even asked Bread. I haven't even asked her what the cummies are supposed to be.
How is it spelled?
Cummies.
Yeah, of course
the
it is.
What is that? Yeah, I know.
Bruce knows.
Yeah, she's like, the cummies. Give Frozen Olaf. Give daddy the cummies. Maybe it's supposed to be...
Happy.
It could be a misspelling of gummies, maybe? I don't know.
No, I think that was very intentional.
That was good.
I like how it ended right there. Like there wasn't any other. That's all you needed.
Well, that pregnant Elsa Anna one from last time, Elsa Anna deliver the baby or whatever. That's all that one said. But all right, next one. Undersea cricket. Pick your team from over 100 different aquatic creatures and play online with friends.
Undersea cricket.
Yeah, like cricket, the
cricket,
sport.
The sport.
Right.
So that's real.
That is fake, actually. That was submitted by Shrimp.
Oh.
So that's kind of appropriate. Shrimp submitted a thing about undersea cricket, but yeah, fake. All right.
That's funny, because you would think... I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Fart attack. When you begin the game, remember to eat all the beanses on the table. Otherwise, you will not frat.
Real.
That is fake as well. That was submitted by Chase. Very good, Chase. Like all these people doing like fooling the shit out of you today, which is awesome.
The reason they're fooling me is because I'm not only second guessing myself, but I'm second guessing what you were doing here.
What do you mean?
You know, like I'm guessing, like I'm trying to figure out like how you would present this stuff.
Oh, my order?
Because
yeah,
but not just order, but also like, you know, like the games are so ridiculous on Greenlight. I can't believe some of these are real.
Yeah, that some people paid $100 for either an elaborate joke or because they actually believe in their game. I don't even know. All right, next one. Ponardy Blast. Join your amigos in an epic and interest quest to find the Ponard crystals off Sheepland. Fight baddies with goons, swords, and fists of fury in an effort to win the crystals and other glorious prizes. Equip lots of equipment and use super magic to become victorious. Ponardy Blast. You said real? It is fake. Yep, Dr. Ducklow submitted that one. I'm doing a lot of fakes in a row. Yeah, maybe next time I'll actually use a randomizer to do it so there's no, so there's no bias in my presentation. Next one.
Okay.
A Minesweeper game with additional features such as campaign mode, item drops, and, of course, achievements.
That's real.
That is real. It's called Fine Sweeper. Fine Sweeper. Let me link you.
I would probably even play that for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if it had some different modes and stuff, that could be decent. Or if they called it Super Minesweeper and it had like different play modes that weren't just like a campaign mode, because that's fucking dumb. and of course achievements. But yeah.
Wow, this trailer, there's an explosion.
Yeah, they really hammed it up on the trailer. It's good. All right. Have you ever wanted to pick up your poop and throw it at the wall? No? Oh, well, we have.
That's it.
Yep. That's as much as I included. That is real, actually. It's called Bathroom Simulator. And I'm going to link you. Yep. They're like the video on the Steam page is even like a Let's Player doing it, and basically it's just a bathroom and everything's around the bathroom, and you can pick up your shit and throw it around. You can piss on the wall, do things like that. So it's just a bathroom environment in which you can go ape shit.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see it. I'm gonna have to play this.
And that concludes our Greenlight Guess segment. I've given you the cummies. And you scored.
You gave me the cummies, and you gave me the gift of poop game.
Yep.
Because
is the download link there? Or
I don't know, but I'm gonna get it. I'll find it somehow.
You've scored 6 out of 15 this time. You're slipping. Either you're slipping or they're getting better.
They're getting better, and I'm slipping.
Yeah. So if you want to submit your own fake descriptions, please just the fake ones. I don't need the real ones. I'll find those myself. Submit them. All you have to do is tweet whatever it is, or a picture of it, or a text file. Paste bin, and hashtag Greenlight Guess. You don't even have to do it at anyone, and I will find it. Just hashtag Greenlight Guess, and whatever, and you try to fool Vinny. I'm not including all of them, just cutting it down and doing the ones that are relatively worth it. But so, you ready for some listener mail?
Yeah.
All right, it's a little short this time. There was a lot less than I was expecting, but there were a couple of really loaded questions that I left out, so we'll keep it pretty concise. This one's for me. It says, KY, as a kindergarten teacher, do you feel worried that increasing usage of exposure of iPads, computers, etc. to children is gradually replacing recess, extracurriculars, and social interactivity as a whole? And if so, do you come across this with your class? I used to be really worried about this, but after working my current job, I can safely say, no, I'm not worried about it. Kids still have a very inherent need to do physical things outside the digital medium. If there's any kid that gets really irritable because they're denied their iPad or they're addicted to digital things like that, it's not the iPads aren't at fault. It's the parents who basically give them iPads to pacify them.
I agree with that. That's a good assessment.
There are still plenty of kids who are very tech literate who do things on computers despite being 3 and 4 years old and do things with iPads. And they still go outside and play tag and play pretend and cops and robbers and everything. So I don't think so. You'd think it would be a big issue, but personally, I'm not worried about it. Not anymore. That was from Cold Lord, and this is also from Cold Lord. Vinny, have you had your rectal examinations yet? You can prevent onset prostate cancer if you begin now.
I feel like Carl Pilkington in Idiot Abroad when Ricky's like, Carl, you gotta get your fucking asshole checked. No, but I'll tell you what. Luigi, do you know old Koopa could have been a healthy old Koopa if he just got his prostate checked?
Mario, I didn't think it would be a big problem. I thought we would be fine.
Oh, it's a problem, Luigi.
All those years of eating mushrooms, I didn't think it would be a problem.
Look, Luigi, just like we were plumbing the pipes, you got to get your pipes plumbed. So, yeah, there you go. That's your answer.
Yeah. Hey, Vinny and KY. I was just wondering what you guys were planning for the podcast. Is it just going to be you two? Will you have guests? This was asked from Jared.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, guys. I'm loving the podcast. Did you want to elaborate on that at all?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have guests. Hey, guys.
We'll have guests.
I'm loving the podcast so far. KY, I was wondering if you've played Catherine for the PS3 before. It's one of my favorite games. I definitely think it'd be interesting to see you play it because of its difficult puzzle elements. And the main character is named Vincent, so there you go. That was from B. Yes, I played Catherine. I actually really liked it a lot. The story was interesting enough. It was wacky, but it was fun. And the gameplay in particular, as you guessed, I really enjoyed because I like my puzzle games. And it has that kind of Atlas mindfuckery and like signature style. I was actually hoping that the golden, what's it called? The Golden Room or something, whatever it was called. I was hoping that becomes a full series of spin-off games. So yeah, Catherine's awesome. Haz asks, have you ever heard of Space Station 13, Vinny?
Yeah, it's like a role-playing game.
Yeah, pretty much. More in a literal sense, where you're not necessarily supposed to play to win. You're just supposed to play your role, and if you play your role, then it creates some interesting stories. That's what I gathered from it. It looks kind of cool.
Jen used to play that.
Yeah, Jen used to play it a lot. She even did a couple tutorial streams, which were awesome. And I've played a little bit, but not much because the learning curve is really steep. So maybe someday, but...
Yeah, I also haven't played it, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't really sound like my type of game 100%.
Yeah.
But, it sounds like a decent concept. It sounds like an interesting concept, but yeah.
I also feel like it'll only really be a good stream if you know the game really well and you really make it entertaining, I guess. I mean, the game is entertaining on its own accounts, but you got to really know the game. So I don't think there's any chance I'll do it anytime soon. I might check it out again at some point, but it's definitely not in my mind. So
yeah.
And that's it, actually. That's it for viewers mail. Wanted to keep it relatively short. Just so you guys know, try to avoid really super loaded questions because we'll probably just skip over them. If you think it would take a whole podcast to answer, then chances are I'm just gonna skip them. Just keep it, simple, concise, and fun. And yeah. So if you want to reach us, oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I have a viewer mail question, KY.
Sure.
Okay, my question is for KY.
Okay.
And the question is, why am I still watching 3D Bathroom Simulator?
Because compelling indie games, Vinny.
The dude just pooped like 17 poops in a pile, and he's putting them all over the walls.
Compelling indie games, or as we call them, SIGs, actual industry term. They say that to keep your repertoire healthy, you got to take a SIG every once in a while.
Okay, now I know.
A steaming SIG.
Big steaming one.
But yeah, so Vinny, where can they email us for listener mail in the future?
Oh, well, that's an easy answer. And the answer is, I still don't know.
2onthevinecast@gmail.com. The number 2. Not the word spelled out, just the number 2 on the vinecast@gmail.com.
Okay, so let me say this out loud, and I'm going to say it like with conviction. That way, maybe next time I'll remember it.
Sure.
So, if you want to reach us, you can go to 2onthevinecast@gmail.com, and that is with the number 2.
Yep, you got it. Or you could tweet us, which is just @2onthevine with the number 2. But I tend to forget to check that when I'm doing listener mail, so I wouldn't rely on it.
Yeah, just like you can't rely on me if you need a favor or if you need me to help you move.
Yeah. All right, well, that was a really pleasant episode on 2 of the Vine, and I hope we do it again real soon.
I enjoyed it, and thank you guys for watching the streams. Thank you guys for listening to the podcasts. I'd like to let you all know that we've got a lot of great stuff coming up on Vinesauce, and we'll be doing a charity stream again this year in July.
Very exciting.
So keep that in mind.
Yep. And if you like the podcast and you want to support us, just like on iTunes, leave a review, rate it, tell your friends, tell your dog, and yeah, just keep on listening.
Go to Dog Planet and make sure.
Go to Dog Planet. Make sure everyone knows about it. They must know. You must bring our gift.
Exactly. So,
all right.
Thank you guys.
Yep. It was a lot of fun, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.